The time is nigh. Open up your eyes to see the signs of the times. Got to be wise to all of their lives. Look to the sky from where my help comes. Wake up, got to wake up from the slumber. Don't let them pull you under. Rise up above the water. Never let them wrestle you into the mud.
Yes, family. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Empress Wazira Menon. You already know, one perfect balance. Welcome to Politically Incorrect, where we get it correct, and if we're not correct, as always, feel free to correct us. Speaking of correct us, let me go ahead and put that number on the screen. There you go. Okay, so this is it's Tuesday, and we are on Politically Incorrect. That is not, I think this is a first. It's not a first. It might be a second. But it would mean that something needs to be said. We were on last night. Thanks for those who would have reached out. But there's some information I just want to drop real quick. Not be on too long, but definitely think is worth noting, something to pay attention to. And so we're going to get it up and running. So go tell a friend and tell a friend. Yes, Politically Incorrect is on. It's Tuesday though. Yeah, but he on. So it got to be something. So I'm going to share some information really quick for those who live in abroad. How to destabilize the Caribbean. We're going to look at this deportation thing because I think this is something that we need to pay attention to for a number of reasons. A lot of things is going on in the Americas. A lot of things are happening very fast. And there's, Guantanamo Bay. So we're going to look at it really quick and we're going to come to a realization that the whole idea is to destabilize the region. As always, problem, reaction, solution. So, once they destabilize, they can offer to stabilize it, So let's look at this from a holistic point of view. So go tell your friends, man, that we up and running. I want to play some videos, but before you get to that, do some reviews. Do I have this in the right order? This is the right order? I hope so. So some stuff here looked like it got shuffled around a bit, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, we're definitely going to play these two for sure. There's one more. I'm not seeing it now, but for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Strangest things be happening, family. But nevertheless, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Anyhow, go tell a friend and tell a friend that we up and running. And so... yeah, it might be this one. Might be this. Nope. All right. Yeah, so just want to play some videos. Let me just start with this one automatically. Just gonna let this one run. I sincerely hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I know how it gets. Before you know it, Friday, and before you know it, is Monday again. They know it, the week starts to roll out, and then all kind of stuff happens. Now, I would say this is going to be a call-in, but the numbers on the screen. But this thing about deportation, I think we need to pay attention. Just one observation. One observation. First, I'm gonna do the thing on Guantanamo Bay. So let me go ahead and drop this first. It's something that we need to pay attention to. And let me go ahead and open this up. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that we must pay attention. I mean, we absolutely must pay attention to it. I'm gonna let this brother go. Ernest Cook is his name. I think he's from St. Vincent. But the St. Vincent Times. I want to definitely drop his video in between here. We can pay attention to it. But before I go there, I see my brother here, Wendell. Greetings, family. Shout out to you and the family. How's the weather? How's the weather on your side of things, man? Greetings, Empress. How things you and the family? What's the temperature like on your side, man? I hope things are warming up. Yes, Sean, I'm on today, man. So I should tell you something, man. Love and light to you too, family. Wait. I shared the video and they removed my post. This is on Facebook, or this is otherwise, well, yes, you're on Facebook, I guess it is. Yeah, I've been having some circumstances, let me just put it that way, that are unexplainable. All right, post the link for sure, for sure. Yeah, Bush is who started Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, but we here, let's fast forward now because a lot of things happening regarding Guantanamo Bay. So we want to get into that. But let me just go ahead and drop this real quick. This brother's video. I'm going to put the link up because I'm not going to play the whole video. But I just think that part of it needs, I think we need to start paying attention and start to realize a few things, man. You know, this is where we as a people got to really start to get in tune and see what's going on. Now, there's a lot of talk also about Vibes Cartel and the Vibes Cartel Resurrection Sunday event. I'm going to touch on that briefly, only briefly. You know, it's so interesting. And in our Christian community, I'm hearing people are lamenting that you shouldn't be allowed to come and perform in certain things. But we're going to look at that very holistically, because I mean, after all, he who without sin cast the first stone. Let me go and pull this up though, man. I know that's going to upset people, what I got to say about that. I'm telling you. I'm only telling you this because I know it's going to upset people. Because, and by the way, that doesn't mean I'm endorsing it, but we're going to touch on that. But let me play this first. This brother right here. Let me go ahead and share the screen and play this. And make sure y'all download this. Well, not download it. If you, well, maybe. But also make sure you listen and pay attention to it. It is very critical, this particular segment. So let me go ahead and grab this link, copy that, and paste it here. Now, this brother operates, like I said, a channel, a very informative channel. I am definitely tuned into it. I'm going to go ahead and share this right now with you as well. So make sure you subscribe to this brother's page as well. Because like I said, he be giving up the information as well. So let me add this to the screen. There you go. Strange. So I do a full screen? Yeah, there you go. All right, there we go.
So I want to begin with that text that you see on the screen, Jeremiah 12:15. And it shall come to pass after that I have plucked them out, I will return and have compassion on them, and will bring them again, every man to his heritage, and every man to his land. You know, if you are not familiar with that book of Jeremiah, maybe you should start reading it. Because I have to tell you something. The world is in a 5 o'clock rush.
Mm-hmm.
And Babylon is here with its confusion and such. Look around you and you will see that wars and rumors are at their peak. So my message to you is, woe to the man who's still asleep. I'm not sure if you ever heard about the term Operation Human Reshuffle. Yeah, it's going on right now. It's a hell of a thing. And there was a 1987 agreement that changed everything. What do we talk about that? Because now a lot of people are asking the real questions, and I'm happy. US deportations seem like a standard immigration enforcement practice at the moment. Criminals being removed, undocumented individuals from within its borders. But all of us, the truth be told, there's something much bigger at play, and I think by now we figured that out. A global scale operation that's been quietly unfolding for decades. And one that has little to do with immigration law and everything to do with geopolitical control, human experiments, and a secret international agreement dating back to the Cold War. I always dig, I always do my research. I ask my people near and far, to dig, keep digging. And I try to bring the information to you without getting anybody involved, because you know how it is on these platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The real reason the US is deporting people worldwide, most people don't realize that US deportations extend far beyond simply removing people from American soil,
Mm-hmm.
because there have been reports of individuals who were never even in the United States being forcibly deported by American agencies. You didn't know that, don't you? The question you have to ask yourself is why? And the real purpose behind these mass deportation is something insiders refer to as Operation Human Reshuffle, which is a clandestine program. And it was designed basically to destabilize certain countries while reinforcing US influence worldwide. So it may look as if that the US is, putting itself at stake, and that China will take over and this will take over. Don't get it twisted, my friends. Here's how it works based on the information we collected. There's strategic deportations. The US government doesn't just remove people at random. Instead, they target specific groups. So among these people that they remove will include scientists. That's right. Activists will be in the bunch. And individuals with unique genetic markers for deportation to nations where their presence will serve this hidden agenda. So some are sent to countries where their expertise can be exploited, while others are intentionally placed in unstable regions to steer or to stir chaos in that part of the world.
Okay. Operation Human Reshuffle. I mean, write that down, family. You can go Google that, look it up, and see what that's about. So Cook is his name. His podcast on YouTube. You can subscribe to the page. He has a lot of information going on, and you'll find it very interesting. One of the things that I also realized too, having someone who actually gone through that process, is a fact, because a lot of people right now are going to be removed and returned to their homes, especially the Caribbean. Now, here's the thing: in some instances, a lot of people never, when they left, never looked back, never got back in touch with their family, and they went ahead and made good for themselves. Some people returned and whatnot. But in some cases, in some instances, people don't have family to return to. People don't have homes to return to. So then this puts a burden on the government in some cases. I don't know if they used to get funds for returning individuals. I'm not sure if that still goes on, especially in light of the fact that Trump is pulling a lot of aid out of the world, basically, and keeping everything in the US. So I'm not sure that's going to unfold, but a lot of folks coming back with a mindset of an American, more advanced country, more advanced nation, coming back to the Caribbean, in some cases, islands that are not as developed, not as fast paced. It is cause for concern. They talk about crime. Now, people coming back out of the prison system who, again, have been rejected in one way or the other, not coming back home to family or anyone in particular, but coming back home to basically the streets, or a situation where they're on, they don't have that reintegration with family and, communal spirit. It's a case where you're going from one hostile environment and being dropped off in a country, in some cases where you may not even know anything about. Some individuals might have left as children, and therefore they don't know what's going on. So what we see is a real situation that's about to take place, and it's already happening. I'm concerned with the mindset, the psychological state of the individuals returning. Some may not have an issue with it, so we're not going to paint the whole picture with one brush. But I know for a fact, having gone through the experience, having seen guys interact with guys who've gone through that experience, just here in Barbados and a few other islands, it ain't that simple. And reintegration is a whole different conversation. So, like, let's take a country, for example, like St. Lucia, or even Jamaica, or St. Vincent for that matter. Jamaica is a bit, Jamaica is Jamaica. What can you say? The environment is already ripe for the picking for someone coming back who's already hostile with a mindset that's advanced and thinking, yo, man, I don't like what they just did. So I'm coming home, I don't have nothing, but I have a unique set of skills that I picked up in America. And so therefore, that's all the skills I have. Barbados, St. Lucia, all the Caribbean islands for that matter, where a country that may not have advanced themselves as much Imagine a person returning that, don't seem to fit in, especially countries that may look down on individuals like that. It's a cocktail for a disaster. And so they know what they're doing. The whole thing is to destabilize the country. Now, the reshuffling part of it is interesting because you're sending a lot of people into an area, a small area, but not really small, but in terms of numbers, let it be 100, 1,000 individuals being deported with a certain mindset. I'm telling you. First of all, unemployment in a lot of the islands is already at an all-time high all across the board. The failing healthcare system is another conversation. Housing is another conversation. So we have these conditions already right on the table. Here comes Trump now. But to add insult to injury, let's look at this other video. Add an insult to injury, as if that wasn't sufficient. Like I said to you, the thing is that I think the real point here I'm trying to make is the psychological one. The psychological effect. Let me close this. The psychological effect that this is going to have on people. Like I said, who may not be in a place mentally to deal with this, considering the way it is being done. You're being snatched up and returned to a place where in some cases, in some instances, people don't have a relationship with. So, but before this happens, they're now looking to reopen Guantanamo Bay. Well, or transition it from being an environment that was initially designed at some point to house what they called terrorists. And from what I heard, all accounts, it wasn't such a nice place. Hence, they were pushing to close it. Well, let me let this conversation unfold. Take a listen to this, family, really quick.
There are a lot of questions about the announcement this week that Guantanamo Bay will be used as a detention facility for migrants. Will people held at Guantanamo have the same due process rights and access to attorneys that they have here in the United States?
Due process will be followed, and having facilities at Guantanamo Bay will be an asset to us, and the fact that we'll have the capacity to continue to do there what we've always done. We've always had a presence of illegal immigrants there that have been detained. We're just building out some capacity. So we appreciate the partnership of the DOD in getting that up to the level that it needs to get to in order to facilitate this repatriation of people back to their countries. So remember that Guantanamo.
Hey guys, welcome back.
I like the fact that she said repatriation. Let me go back there. A second. Hang on a second. Let me go back there. The fact that they're even trying to insinuate this repatriation, that they're trying to make it seem like this is something that people are volunteering to do, as if they're coming out there and saying, hey, look, I want to return. The funny thing is this, though. Why do you think there was never, ever an effort to deport Africans, what they call American Africans, to Africa? You ever wonder that? Why they never thought about deporting who they claim are American Africans back to Africa? But everybody else, because, think about it. The folks who came over on Plymouth Rock, all these Caucasians, none of them are indigenous to the Americas, absolutely none. They all came from some other country, northern country, European country, are now saying to the individuals that are there that, we're gonna deport y'all. This is an interesting thing. So you need to understand what's happening in terms of the language and why it is happening. Like I said, Guantanamo Bay, there's a lot that can be said about Guantanamo Bay that might not be, desirous. In fact, hold on, let me switch it now and go again and show you a video on Guantanamo Bay. I think this should put it in perspective. Let me share this one and open up this screen here. Hang on. In fact, let me put this link up as well, because this has a lot of information. Oh, by the way, the plans is to expand it to house 30,000. I think at present, the numbers were in the hundreds in terms of the amount of people that it can house. But Trump is saying, nah, we're going to expand it. But let me give you a second here just to play this information. Let me just go ahead and grab this link again for those who might want to go take a look at it. The link is in the comment, by the way. Let me post that there. I see you, Wendell. Wendell said, man, it is minus 13 degrees. You cannot be serious. I see you, Empress. We're surviving. Blessings to you and the family as well. Give thanks, family. Say snow and snow. I heard there's some storms coming. Y'all be careful. Y'all be safe. Be wise. Be careful. He said, did I mention more snow? Snow and snow. Did I mention more? Is it that? It rough, man. It rough. It rough. I hope you have your salt for tomorrow. Make sure you get your salt. One of the things you can do for your driveway, your walkway, is to put down a tarpaulin. Put down a tarpaulin on the ground or some plastic. So when it snows, you just go outside, basically you roll up the plastic rather than trying to shovel that. Just roll it out the way. Little hacks. Just little hacks. It's a lot easier, especially on the back. Tanika said, yep, snow and 2 more snow storms coming. Wow, sorry to hear that, man. Good night, King Alfred. I see you. Greetings to you too, Maria. Yeah, I'm sorry for y'all that snow, man. We're going to send y'all some sunshine and in a jar as best we can. So you'll have to survive. Peace to you too. Good night to you, Alex. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Just so ICE will be checking people for U.S. citizens. Sounds like, martial law, but they're not calling it martial law. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. I got people now telling me, I didn't know this at first, but last night I was talking to my people because somebody asked me, how your people doing? So I decided to make some calls, and they were telling me, man, you got folks who don't even want to answer the phone. Like they don't even want to answer the phone. Like they don't want to answer the phone because people calling like, yo, I'm calling from such and such and such and such. And then they're tracking you and they're finding you. It's like, what? So it's that kind of situation. Some folks are worried and apparently some are not, but Americans versus Native Americans, the first boat people. Yeah, I got you. Want to be in charge of backward talk on status. Yeah, man, crazy as it is. He said, yes, even Jesus was an immigrant fleeing and hiding, so I don't get Trump. Trump, I mean, a lot of people talking about Trump, man. He said, my driveway 300 feet. Okay, all right, got you covered. You need an ATV, man. I got you covered. Peace to you too, Tyrone. That's what we're going to do, family. Let me just drop this real quick. That's what we're going to do, man. We're going to have to realize that all we have is us. We're going to have to reach a point where we start looking out. I mean, taking our interests really serious at heart. I mean, let me just drop this video real quick, though, and let this ride out. You can't say and give them credit. Public service announcement, man. Let me just say this too. Appreciate the fact that when they snatch people up out their situations, whether married, relationship, jobs, families, and just take them and put them in an environment that is such a negative space deliberately, and it looks like a concentration camp. I'm actually going to show you a picture at some point. You might see some images here of Guantanamo Bay. We ought to envision, understand the mindset, what they're about to do to people. And then they're going to take you from that situation and drop you off home. Pay attention, family.
Over the years I've been reporting on Guantanamo, I've seen the prison camp evolve. Once crammed full of suspected terrorists in orange jumpsuits, parts of the camp are now empty.
Just right here by the side of the road, this is where the detainees were kept in cages, essentially.
Gitmo is a symbol of the post-9/11 war on terror. But on my trips here, I began to hear a rarely told history of how it was first used to hold people outside the reach of U.S. law. It began a decade before 9/11, in the wake of a bloody coup in September of 1991, just across the water in nearby Haiti.
A military coup is underway. When the Haitian military overthrew elected President Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
Reports that soldiers have killed up to 150 people this week.
I was 14. My dad was in hiding. So every time they come knocking on the door looking for my dad, it was like, we don't know where he's at. I've seen people being burned alive and people being beheaded just for your political belief.
Some Army and police units are working as marauders.
My dad could have died at any given day, so we had to flee.
Marie and her father were among the more than 70,000 Haitians who took to the sea in the aftermath of the coup.
It is a refugee flood.
Hoping to get political asylum in the U.S.
For many, leaving by boat was their only escape from political.
The boat would be leaking water sometimes, so we had a bucket.
Officials worry that hundreds of Haitians may have died in the rough seas.
We went out of food, we went out of water, people was sick. We were in a predicament. You couldn't go back.
Coast Guard is now stopping Haitian sailboats around the clock.
U.S. officials were inundated, intercepting hundreds of boats.
The State Department says the Haitians don't meet standard criteria for asylum,
After a quick review, they rejected most of the Haitians' asylum claims
describing them as economic, not political refugees.
and sent them back to Haiti.
The Coast Guard was picking people up and sending them back to Haiti without asylum processing, basically. So without giving people a chance to establish that they were fleeing political persecution.
The Haitian exodus has tied American refugee policy into knots.
But the refugees kept
U.S.
coming.
official called it a national security crisis.
So they were brought to a place nearby where normal U.S. asylum rules would not apply.
Nearly 1,200 Haitians are being detained at the U.S. naval base in Cuba.
American soldiers quickly built a holding camp at the naval base on Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
It was massive, a massive camp, and it was fenced with razor wire, and you have the tower with the guards, and then just during the day, you just roam the yards. We didn't have no rights because technically we're not in the U.S., so it felt like you were in prison. I mean, that's what it was to us. It was being in a prison.
Soon, more than 12,000 people would be held here while their asylum claims were being processed, but without access to lawyers like they would have had if they'd made it to the U.S.
This is essentially Guantanamo Episode 1. We had foreign nationals held at Guantanamo precisely because the government believed or took the position that there were no legal constraints.
That issue caught the attention of a group of law students who were watching the story unfold.
I was in my last year at Yale Law School, where the students had been working on a variety of human rights litigation projects, and one of them was addressing what was happening with Haitian refugees. And the question was whether anything more could be done.
What was happening on Guantanamo Bay was wrong. And we felt like we needed to do something, which was to file a lawsuit.
The law students brought their concerns to their professor, Harold Coe.
The students came to me and they said, we'd like you to sue the U.S. government. The case started as a request for lawyers. And what happened with the Haitians were on Guantanamo, but they didn't have legal representation and they could be returned potentially to their death. So how can it be that you can be asked questions, have no right to consult a lawyer, and be returned to your death?
The government argued that the Haitians weren't entitled to lawyers because Guantanamo was beyond the jurisdiction of U.S. law.
The position of the government really was twofold. Number one, these detainees don't even have the right to walk into court to challenge their detention.
I think I did post that link earlier. I need y'all to go check that out in its full capacity and realize that what happened then is literally on the brink of happening now. A lot of people are going to be picked up by what they call ICE, and they're not going to have any due process in that capacity. The aim is to ship people out as quickly as possible so that they're out of the reach of United States jurisdiction. So you have family right now in the Americas. Listen to me, family. If you got your people, your family in the Americas, and they have concerns, if you guys WhatsApp, you guys talk, send them this information, send them this particular link, so that in their mind they start to understand that what is about to happen, although it is crazy as it is, there's some way of redressing it, at least when they start to go through the process. Maybe for those who want to fight it, because maybe some who just want to leave and don't care. But for those who might want to fight, having every bit of information makes a difference, because it's basically going to be the same thing all over again. They're going to claim you're here, quote unquote, illegally, and therefore you're not entitled to anything that we have to offer. And so, like I said, get the information to your people as soon as you can, as best you can, and help prepare some of them for the transition that is almost imminent in some cases, if not most cases. So I definitely want to share that link for sure. I definitely have the link in the comment. Those you can go check that. What are your thoughts on this though, family? What do y'all think about what's happening? Because like I said, sending back 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people in different areas, hundreds in the Caribbean, it's going to cause some degree of destabilization regarding how we look at stuff, how we process stuff, how we interact with each other. And like I said, a lot of individuals might have been overseas for a decade, 2 decades, sometimes even 3 decades. Their mindset is different. Returning to a country that they may have left as children, like I said, they don't even identify with it. Man, Trump doing a full forensic audit on America until the heart handover, while cutting off all monies to the prime ministers. Yeah, well, a lot of people say he's doing a good thing, but I want people to understand that there's nothing good about the system that they functioning in. It's a system. He isn't changing the system. He is a product of the system. The system has created him to do what he's doing deliberately in order to maintain control, because they realize that we are on the verge of organizing, centralizing, and mobilizing ourselves. They have to appear as if they're coming to rescue us. It's almost like Rosa Parks all over again. That might sound strange to folks, but we had our own buses. Like I said, we didn't need to sit on nobody else's bus. The solution to the situation is not more integration. It's recognizing that once we are in that system, we will always get that kind of outcome or treatment. It wasn't ours, it isn't ours, and therefore was never designed to benefit us as a people. He said, but that area belongs to Cuba. Well, not exactly. Not exactly. In fact, I'm beginning to really suspect that what they call Guantanamo Bay is perhaps maybe an artificial area that was created. I'll show you. I'll show you a picture here, Sean. Let me just pull this up real quick. Hang on. Let me go ahead and share this. Share this right here. Share screen. There you go. Well, this is now. Well, this was then. Sorry. Maybe now. I don't know. It might be clear. This might be an old image, but recognize that those boulders look very familiar. They look like the boulders you see down there on Spring Garden right now. And you put enough boulders out in the ocean and push the water out and fill it with some soil and level it. Well, you can reclaim you can reclaim land. And so I don't know if it is a case where they did that. It almost looks that way because, as you can see from the images further down the coastline, the water and the land doesn't have that high drop off. This looked like it was almost put together with boulders, just creating an area that they can claim they own. And so I don't know how it fully happened. Maybe it was a smaller area and they expanded it for some kind of development or whatever. But I know that it's not what we think it is. And so, like this gentleman said in the video there, that there's much more to be said about Guantanamo Bay than we are currently aware of. And that's currently what's going on. So post 9/11, by the way, that Frontline PBS feature, Forever Prison, was aired in January 31st, 2025. So this isn't something that's old. It's just a compilation of the information. I'm going to encourage you to go watch it. Like I said, the link is in the comments. Go watch it, go watch it, go watch it. Make sure you share it with your people, share it with your family, and let us become aware, because a number of things literally about to happen. Folks are comfortable thinking that, well, I'm good, I have my status. And like the brother said, they're going at people for different reasons. So let's pay attention to that. I think that was something that I felt needed to be mentioned very seriously. Very, very seriously. We living in those times, people. So we can't play as if we don't know what's going on when we can see the writing on the wall. It is very clear to us. I want to also put this up. Let me go ahead and make one more link here. Hang on a second. This was, so we get this link going again. Yeah, I need you all to go and Google Guantanamo Bay. Just go and Google it and take a look at it and see exactly what's going on in that area. Yeah, this goes back. America seized that area a while back. And so, like I said, not that it don't belong to Cuba, but you know how America take what they feel they can take and call it theirs. At the time, that would have been a Spanish, well, it's still a Spanish island, but it goes back a few centuries when that first happened, so I guess they kind of officially rent part of the space from Cuba, although they claim not have any relationship with Cuba. That's straight hypocrisy. They left their military, they left when they left Cuba, but they left the military base in place. So just as a reminder, just keep that in mind. Boy, I tell you, boy, you cannot make this stuff up at all. Anyhow, family, there's another link I want to give you. Let me go ahead and post this one as well. Let me go and share this really quick. Share that. Every time you look around, there's some controversy. Okay, so here we have it. Let me just make this a little larger. Yes. Controversial proposal. Guantanamo Bay, the new role in immigration enforcement. Like I said, man, this is plans they have, from terror suspects to illegal immigrants. Family, in fact, let me get this link here again also. Copy this. I'm going to put this also in the comment section. Tell a friend to tell a friend, post that. It said, Trump wants to buy Guantanamo Bay for national security purposes. So like a black site, Sean. So, but that area belongs to Cuba. Yes, King, greetings, family. The place the people going back to might not even have ties to, maybe running from people, who knows. And that's the whole thing, man. That's the whole thing. ICE is recruiting, and the federal government is looking to train IRS agents for ICE duties. I guess this is where it going to get out of hand. The Federal Reserve System, what got Trump rich in the first place, so he never changed it. That area in USA is Cuban military base. Yep. But that's the thing, though. So the military now is going to be ones in charge, not ICE directly, but the military keeping the individuals there. Bear in mind that this is the same place that they would have had quote unquote terror suspects, where there were allegations of high torture. And I say allegations, as a politically correct term. But yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough. It was crazy, man. So check that link out as well, and do some research on your own, family. Start to pay attention. The U.S. Marines are being deployed to build new infrastructures at the base. Facility will focus on detaining the worst criminal illegal. Now listen to this. The facility will focus on detaining the worst criminal illegal aliens. The worst. Oh man. This move has sparked criticism from legal advocacy groups and international officials. But guess what? It may spark criticism, but as you can see already, he's doing whatever he feels like. They have begun transporting what they consider illegal aliens to Guantanamo Bay facility in Cuba. This naval base, historically used to detain terrorist suspects, is now being repurposed to house what officials describe as the worst criminal illegal aliens. The initiative represents a significant shift in the use of the controversial detention center and marks a new chapter in the administration tough stance on illegal immigration. Yeah, man, this, like I said, family, they're going to put, quote unquote, all the bad apples together. Yeah. Let them sit there for a couple, because this ICE process could take anywhere from a week, 3 weeks, 3 months, 90 days, 6 months, a year. Meanwhile, you're in a space, in a place where you're outside jurisdiction. So anything can go on, man. And then they come for you in the middle of the night, like, yo, yeah, Pat, come, let's go. And they drop you off at some designated island somewhere that you identify as your place of origin, or what they consider as your place, your home. And anyhow, I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, people, we got our work cut out to do, man. Like I said, the links are there on the screen. Go tell your people what it is. Let them know. What are your thoughts on this whole thing, though, family? Give us your thoughts on this. If you got family abroad, you're in contact with them, start having conversations, because ideally, we already got food issues. We got issues with the youth already, what they consider the violence with the youth. Of course, now we're putting a lot of blame on the music. Yes, the music will take some degree of responsibility, but in reality, we can't point a finger at the musician alone. Vibes Cartel, like I was saying earlier, yeah, he had this run back in the days, and he has written songs that are extremely promote what they consider promoting a negative mindset, but in reality, he promotes what he would have seen in his culture, which is a culture all across the land, and then perhaps it was used as a weapon as well to destabilize the minds of our youth. And we can look back and say, well, yeah, we see that, but in reality, I mean, these are the same songs they still play on the radio all day, every day. The children are listening to it on the way to and from school. They're listening to it in their own personal spaces. The internet is open. They can download and listen to it. So that's him coming here is not the issue. In fact, I go a little step further. Vibes Cartel and the music that he would have been singing, the youth aren't listening to Vibes Cartel in 2025. They might listen to a song or two, and we could say Vibes Cartel is a bad man. He went to prison, whatnot, and he came out of prison. Is there no forgiveness in the Christian community? Is there no acceptance of a man who has repented from doing his wrong and now wants to do right? I am not advocating for Vibes Cartel, by the way. I am simply trying to make a point. If the Christian community in Barbados was paying any close remotely attention to the reality of what's going on, and I say this loosely, because I do hear some of them up in arms about Vibes Cartel. Perhaps it's the fact that he's singing on Resurrection Sunday, which for some is a significant day in Christendom, which is funny because Good Friday, which doesn't really add up to 3 days and 3 nights. Nobody talks about it, but that's another conversation. The point I want to make is let's not be hypocritical here, okay? Let's not do that. Let's not be convenient Christians. The reality is that the youth are not being influenced by Vibes Cartel. The music they listen to and the artists they're listening to have been coming and going in Barbados now for weeks, months, perhaps even a few years at this point. Vibes Cartel is probably from an era, perhaps a decade ago, literally over a decade ago. I'm telling you. So the youth know that are 14, 15, 16, going up to that age that are involved in all this, what they consider the crime spree. Vibes Cartel have been in jail, right now, over 10 years, 12 years, 14 years. He been there a little while, though, people. He been there a little while. And all y'all know time has passed quickly, but not realize it. A lot of new artists have came out since then that pushing way more violent music than Cartel ever even talked about. Way more violent. And those artists, they come and go freely. I don't hear anybody, I've never heard anybody out there in protesting those artists. I don't see it. So there might be a little misinformation and disinformation regarding that. Just saying to the community, you might want to look closer at the younger artists that are on the scene right now. That's what the youths are listening to. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to protest something, be up to date, is all I'm saying. And as far as Cartel coming on Easter Sunday and whatnot, man, I would like to think that, you know, the Bible never said to remember Resurrection Sunday. When last I checked, the Bible said to remember the Sabbath day. I'm just saying. So, you know, if I could understand you making noise about him performing on the quote unquote Sabbath day, but Resurrection Sunday, or the day they call Easter Sunday, or what was formerly known as Easter Sunday, which we know today has nothing to do with the resurrection of the Christ. And that's why they eventually changed it, because they realized that folks were becoming aware that it wasn't Easter. Well, although it is still Easter for those who celebrate Easter versus those who celebrate resurrection on Easter. That's why it's never a fixed date. It always coincides with the moon. Their resurrection coincides with the moon. I like to think that if he was a certain day, they would keep a particular day, but it can never be the day. So Resurrection Sunday is just symbolic. That's not the day he was resurrected. And that's what I'm saying to the Christian community. Don't be so hypocritical about he coming and performing on Resurrection Sunday. That is not Resurrection Sunday. That is Easter. And that's just the bottom line, because that day coincides with Ishtar and the moon and that whole celestial equinox system. That has nothing to do with the day according to the story of the crucifixion and resurrection of the Christ. That was a specific date and not a day. And if you don't know the date, we can't hold a day sacred over another, because it wouldn't be accurate. So symbolically, it's just symbolically. And I'm open, my number's on the screen. Anybody who wants to call in and have a conversation about that, I'm more than willing to do so. We got to stop being so hypocritical. Cartel went to prison. He had done some wrong. He came home. Didn't know forgiveness. Perhaps he has changed. Perhaps he really wants to do right. Maybe he recognized he had done some wrongs and want to correct his error. Because to say that there's no forgiveness for him, forgive us our sins forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say regarding that, man. He said, did not a lot of them had UN debit cards? I don't know what you mean, Alex. You have to clarify that. Calling other people aliens, treating people like a different planet. Well, there's a reason why they do that. Donville back with the DLP. Donville never left the DLP. You know what I'm saying? Donville never left. I told you know, perhaps Donville has recognized the error of his ways. Perhaps, you know, he appealed his conviction, which was also denied. He'd done his time. He came home. Perhaps he was an innocent man that was wrongly convicted. I don't know. The evidence seemed to point differently, but again, I don't know. But he's back there right now. Again, as a matter of principles and integrity, you know, maybe he wants to run again and be Prime Minister of Barbados. Wouldn't that be interesting that Donville become the Prime Minister along with, well, I don't know how that would work, actually. I guess he could be acting, since he who should not be mentioned that is mentioned. I don't know. I can't get into it, man. What's going on with the DLP? I have no idea. That's, you know, like I said, they all were started as colonial masters for the colony of Barbados to keep the people colonized. At some point, they devised a plan to include the illusion of inclusion for the people, to give them the idea that they were involved in this thing. And the only thing the people got was debt. Full stop. They didn't get nothing else but debt. And that's all they've been getting ever since, to the tune right now of $14 billion. So independence brought $14 billion of debt. Prior to that, we ain't had that. We have it now, right? So that's it. People talking about Barbados as if, you know, it is something separate from the colony. In reality, until we create our own system, there's no sense in trying to get into the colonial system and trying to change the colony. That is what it is. That is what it's been designed to be, and that is what it's going to continue. We got to stop letting these individuals give us this illusion of inclusion. Yes, come vote me, join me, and do this and do that. That's not how that's going to go down. at all. They could talk chalk, and you could tell it's a talk shop. Like, they don't have no viable responses to nothing. All of them basically looking to get a seat in that space to do what? Absolutely what's going on now on the other side of town. The problem is that none of them can compete with Miss Mia Motley at this point. None can stand in her shadow. And that's just the reality. And that's not me advocating for Miss Motley. I just saying it, calling a spade a spade. They ain't got nobody in that space right now that can stand in her shadow. She's just good at what she does, regardless of how bad people might think she is. The reality is, none of them can rival her. Not even Mr. Thorne himself. He could just be a thorn in her side at best. One that I'm sure she's willing to pluck will be easily done. So time will tell you who's who just now, man. Two were charged in yard yesterday on cybercrime bills. Really? Really? Send me the link, brethren. Let me see what's going on with that. That sounds really interesting. That is marketing for Vibes Cartel. People love controversial stuff. Well, yes, I suppose I do understand their point. Don't get me wrong. I do get where they're coming from. I just think it's a bit hypocritical. You know, I do think so, because me personally speaking, when Cartel and Mavada was going at it, I remember we were trying to bring them to Barbados, the Barbados Youth Action Program, and Jack, shout out to Jack, by the way. But we weren't bringing them here to promote no violence. We were bringing them here to talk to the youth and show the youth, listen, look, that lifestyle is only a show, it's only a gimmick. We only sing that in songs. We don't really live that. That's not the real deal. So just to show them that. And so that was a controversial as well. And they did shut it down. And they did say we couldn't do it for different reasons. They said security reasons. But I said it to say that, well, if you're going to ban Vibes Cartel because he has violent music that promotes violence, we got to go to the Globe Drive-In, though. We got to go up to the Globe Drive-In. We got to go to the Olympics. We're going to have to stop these movies that come in, you know, the movies with the different, you know, Hollywood actors that show nothing but violence and shooting from beginning to end, high-speed chases and the murder of police officers, this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm just saying, if we're going to, again, we cannot be hypocritical. Yeah, man. That don't make no sense, man. I mean, it becomes obvious that there's an agenda, that you're playing with people's emotions and you're getting all adamant and, you know, how emotionally distraught you are. You can't believe they have the audacity to do this. Like, come on. If you're going to do that, let's go and ban Kropova. Let's ban Kropova because of the promotion of promiscuity, alcoholism, and reckless revelry lifestyle. You got people half dressed up and down a highway doing absolutely all kinds of lewd act. We ain't even going to talk about 4 Day Morning. I mean, if we're going to be, not to mention there's a Christian band as well that's involved in this whole thing. Now we could say, well, they're promoting Christ. I don't know how that works in that instance. But hey, what I'm saying is, let's not be hypocritical, man. Let's not do it. If we're going to talk about why our youth are the way they are, let's address the issue with education at the highest level. Let's address the issue of religion. You strip the people of their culture, of their gods, of their way of life, torch them for hundreds of years, then you felt somehow compelled to give them a religion to redeem their soul, which is the religion that you use to torture, murder, and control them for the same how many centuries. And then you get upset that the youth, after a while, reject that information and want to connect with their own. After you have demonized their culture, demonized their gods, demonized their practices, and the only one that's right is the one that you gave the people. I don't know how that's going to work out, man. I don't know how that's going to work out at all, but we got to be honest about this, man. The masses got debt and certain people got their pockets full. That's a fact, man. That is God. That is the gospel truth right there. How to destabilize the Caribbean? You empower some and strip the others, man, and create that two-tier system, man. Haves and the haves nothing. Don't will hold it down and ain't sell out most of them. I like how you put that, ain't sell out most of them. Man, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. That situation right there. Oh no, man. Look, we got to remember, right, family, that there are individuals here who are direct descendants of the plantocracy. Their family, their parents own and enslave Africans that look just like them. and perhaps we're worse than the Europeans who came here and had marriages and created this, lighter version of us. The PS5 games. I'm telling you, they're gonna have to ban the PS5 games too from being sold in Barbados. We cannot be hypocritical. How you gonna blame one dancehall artist for all this lyrics and all the madness when every day on the radio, especially government radio stations, the government radio stations play the same music morning, noon, and night. So reality is they don't, and like I said, I am promoting the Vibes Cartel show. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying if the Christian community is going to be up in arms, there's a number of things they should have been up in arms about a long time. Emotionally speaking, nah, we're not playing no emotional games. We got to stop that, man. Be very serious about this journey, because the reality is a lot of people saying, Lord, Lord, unfortunately, you're going to have to depart from, he said, depart from me. I don't know you. But Father, I prayed every day. I was in the choir. I was even online preaching. Shalom, mashallah, abla, abla, abla. Yeah, well, whatever, man. And so, scribes and Pharisees, man, it going too far. It going too far. That's my take on it. That's my 2 cents on that. Anyhow, family, like I said, I wasn't going to come on here for no long time. Just want to drop that information. If you got family and live abroad, stay in contact with them. Be sure to have a plan of action, because if they do snatch them and go to Guantanamo, you might not be able to reach them or hear them in that instance. So at least prepare them for what is to come. I mean, it may not happen. It's better to have a plan than not have a plan, because he who fails to plan plans to fail. You know what I mean? So let me start to speak life and speak it abundantly, and see if we could make some things happen for those who are looking to come, well, voluntarily, versus those who might be ripped out and basically tossed into the furnace. It's going to test us on a different level now, family. The Caribbean got to realize that, even from the food, education, housing, social issues, crime, self-hate, all these things are relative. And now we're going to send back a bunch of folks, hundreds in some cases, thousands in some cases, back to their native lands with a different mindset. Family, we in for a whole new ride in this thing, right? So buckle up, family. Anyhow, that's my 2 cents for the evening. I give thanks to those who tune in. What's your thoughts right now, family? Any other questions before we roll out? Any other thoughts, final thoughts, questions, comments? Wait, yeah, okay. Let me know. Let me see if it's something else I wanted to drop here. Do I have that video? Let Trump fool people, man. Health is wealth nowadays, family. Keep healthy. You know what I'm saying? Eat your fruits, drink your fruit juices, clean out your system, take care of yourself on a different level. Times is changing fast, so we got to pay attention, family. Got to pay attention. Oh, and one more thing, by the way. Just one more thing. Realize, right, that and an elder told me this today, and I want to thank him too. I'll leave it at that. He said, you got to remember, young lion. He said that we're the only people that have coil here. We are the only ones. Everybody else is a hybrid of us. And I was like, not that I'm, I wasn't thinking along that line, but the elder was telling me, listen, man, we got to guard ourselves in these days, because it is us they're after. They're after us. Especially those of us who know. Those who know what's going on. You got to be mindful. He said, be in the world, but not. The last thing he told me was, you got to be in the world, but not of the world. Don't be afraid, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. So I'm saying that to you tonight as well, family. Be in this world, but we know we're not of this world. Let's not get caught up in this thing. Let's focus on building and restoring our legacy like before, in order to pass this on to our children and our children's children. You know what I mean? Rastafari. Give thanks, family. And I agree, Alex. Yep, it's a coalition of united people. Yep, it's a coalition of united people. That's the time we in. Peace more. I give thanks, man. That's where it's at. That's where it's at, man. So who know, who don't know, about to find out. And tomorrow I should be back up in here running. Yes, as on schedule. I have some information that might be a little disturbing. This is regarding, again, going back to Barbados and the land issues and the land registry department. I'm telling you, the land registry department, the whole system in Barbados, we got to realize what it is, man. We got to realize what it is. And like I said, we keep blaming the administrators for the 5 years or the 10 years they sit there. But in reality, you see the people that work in these places, you see why Trump come and strip all these workers and tell them get rid of all these federal workers? A lot of folks been in their jobs way too long, gotten way too comfortable doing the wrongs that they've been doing. Not all. In fact, I'm going to speak vaguely, because if you feel a type of way, it probably you ain't talking about. Because a lot of them done did some things, man. And I get it. We get it. We get it. But because we get it don't mean you get away. You know what I mean? Because, nah, it's better for you to resign while you can. Because I know what happened in America happens in the region, though. Just a matter when. Realize that, sort yourself out. Somebody got to blow the whistle. Better come from inside, man. Okay, Alex, I see you. I see you. All right, we out of here, family. Let me see. I got a tune I want to drop as well. I don't know which one I should put on, though. Perhaps this one I should put on. Yeah, perhaps this one I should put on, man. I think I'm going to do this one. I think I'm going to do this particular one. I'm going to do this one, family. Yes. One perfect balance, family.
Nah, break my neck. Jaja never fail like yet. Why worry, why fret? Jaja never fail like yet. Oh, one step. Jaja never fail like yet. Oh, me no have no regrets. Jaja never fail like yet. Me we go hard when not time we go hard. Me we go easy. Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come with no entourage. Me we go hard when not time we go hard. Me we go easy. Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come with no entourage. Them I wonder why me Cooper Chesy can't done. Troublemaker test me faith, me them want try down. Jaja chat before me clear the way, me not fi car gun. Me dep on me mission and me not beg them no pardon. This fight with me life and me thankful. Gratitude me not have to get the bank full. All my troubles and my fears Jaja cancel. Obstacles in my way I get champ.
Well, that one for the talk, family. Trust in the Almighty. Don't nobody fool you, family. Almighty run things. Almighty run family. Trust in the Most High, man.
Hey, nah break my neck. Jaja never fail like yet. Why worry, why fret? Jaja never fail like yet. Oh, one step. Jaja never fail like yet. Oh, me no have no regrets. Jaja never fail like yet. Me we go hard when not time we go hard. Me we go easy. Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come with no entourage. Me we go hard when not time we go hard. Me we go easy. Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come with no entourage. Them I wonder why me Cooper Chesy can't done. Troublemaker test me faith, me them want try down. Jaja chat before me clear the way, me not fi car gun. Me dep on me mission and me not beg them no pardon. This fight with me life and me thankful. Gratitude me not have to get the bank full. All my troubles and my fears Jaja cancel. Obstacles in my way, I get trampled. Yeah. There is a light unto my path, lamp unto my feet.
That's right.
Wherever I walk,
Very
the Lord
much.
with me. Me we go hard, not time we go hard. Me we go easy, Jaja done in charge.
That's all right,
Me
people,
no have
Father.
to put on a big facade.
Up
Me
with
no
us,
have
family.
to come in and no entourage. Me we go hard, but not time we go hard. Me we go easy, Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come in and no entourage.
Don't put your trust in
Me
us.
no inna them hype, me a no for them type. And me nah make no wrong step. Me a stand my ground, me a hold my own. Me no like them concept. Competition and contest, confusion and conflict. Me prefer walk on the long road than go end up in a ants list. Me we go hard when not time we go hard. Me
Yes,
we go
family.
easy, Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put on a big facade. Me no have to come with no entourage. Me we
Jesus.
go hard when not
Trust,
time we go hard. Me we go easy, Jaja done in charge. Me no have to put
trust
on
the
a big
Almighty family.
facade. Me no have to come with no entourage.
We don't have to come with no entourage, man. The trust is in the Almighty for sure. Never fail, I and I yet. Yeah, you love that, right? You love that tune. The link right there, Daffodil. Big tune, big tune. Them is in kind of meditations, family. I know some folks will tell themselves, nah, boy. Look, they love the culture, but they hate Rastafari. Are you understand it, though? You got to ask yourself why. You know, you have to ask yourself why. You know, serious thing. Nevertheless, family, give thanks for your time, your energy. Be on here first, like, you know, and we're going to do it. And might play another one, Daffodil, just because I know you and Nicole. You and Randall, I got another tune for y'all, man, because I know y'all up there in the core, man. I'm going to get another one, man. Another one, man. Why y'all up there in the core, rather, right? Be sure to do one thing, if nothing else. Let me pull this from the top, man. Hold on. Let me pull it from the top. Hold on. Let me pull this one from the top, from the top, from the top. From the top, man.
Me have a healthy body.
Take care of yourself, family.
A healthy body.
Fruits and vegetables, Fruits and vegetables, family. Cool, right? Family. Ginger. Body warm.
Vitamin B and C and D. Healthy body, me have a healthy body. Healthy body, me have a healthy body. Lazy body, no lazy body. Lazy body, me no lazy body. Healthy body, a healthy body, a healthy body. Healthy body, a healthy body, a healthy body. Don't over the Pacific, no chop in a head. The girl left there, echo of the physical fit. Oh, we have a healthy body. Yeah. Oh, we have a healthy body. Oh, I've got the vitamin A, the vitamin B, the C, and D. Vitamin A, the vitamin B, the C, and D. So I've got resistance. I don't need no assistance. I've got resistance.
Get the boy.
I don't need no assistance. Jump over the Pacific, no job in a head. Jump over the Pacific, no job in a head. Oh, we come and not got the physical fit. All of you want them, your physical fit. Healthy body, a healthy body, a healthy body. Healthy body, a
Like all day, every day, man.